to teach snatch. So right away I have 20% or 25% body weight set up. I'm going to go up to it and just do the weight. So I won't describe what's going on, I'll just lift the bar, okay? So then I'll say, okay guys, what we're going to do is going to teach you top to bottom for the snatch. What top to bottom means is I'm going to teach you the last portion of that movement I just did, and then work our way back to the beginning. It's a little bit easier to learn that way. Again, if I were to teach you a race and said, there's no finish line, just run. It'd be harder to run than if I were to show you where the finish line was first, and then kind of worked our way back. So what we're going to do is 3 pre-movement warm-ups. There's going to be 2 upper body ones and 1 lower body one. I have my imaginary PVC pipe in hand right now, which you guys will have during test out. What we're going to do right away is shoulder dislocates. I'm going to take the PVC pipe with both hands being straight, or both arms being straight, widen my hands so the bar rests on my waistband, and then I'm going to take that bar and just go from belly button to back. And again, for live test out, I'll just do about 2 or 3 times. So that's shoulder dislocates. The next one is going to be around the world. So what's going to happen is I'm going to keep one arm down, while the other arm comes almost right above my ear or above my head, making this big I, and then coming to my back, and then switching arms. I'll go both ways, maybe 2 times each. So those are our 2 upper body. Our lower body one's going to be a yogi squat. Yogi squat is going to be heels at shoulder width, toes slightly externally rotated, or rotated out a little bit. I'm going to sit down into my hips, having my elbows into my knees, push my knees out, and have my hands together. My goal is to get vertical as much as possible, so I'm not kind of tilted over. It's always a very high or steep shoulder and hip angle. So those are our 3 pre-movement warm-ups for the overhead squat. So the overhead squat, what we're going to do is going to get that same grip as our around the worlds or shoulder dislocates. The bar's on my waistband. I'm going to bring that bar up overhead. The first thing I'm going to think about is my hand positions where that bar is on the waistband. Second one's going to be my elbows. The crook of my elbow, or this little bend of my elbow, is always facing the ceiling, while the bend of my elbow itself, or the elbow, is facing the ground. So I always think of like holding a waiter's tray. And there the bar's right over my ears. My heels, again, are in that yogi squat stance, so my heels are at shoulder width, slightly pointed out, and my eyes are fixed on a focal point. Usually it's where the ceiling and the wall kind of come together. It might be a sign, it might be a clock, that type of idea. From there, all I'm going to do is go into my squat and right back up. My goal is to watch that shoulder hip angle staying very steep. So as I squat, keeping that bar in line with ears, shoulders, hips, and heels as much as possible. The group will do a couple, or your partner will do a couple while you're teaching them. So next, we're going to now break it down into the snatch portion of things. So again, I'm just continuing teaching top to bottom. So what's going to happen is I'm going to bring that bar again that waistline level with my hands. My feet are now going to be in a power stance, so they're going to be a little bit closer. Usually heels are under hips, and then toes are still pointed out just a little bit. And from there, we're going to go what we call finishing the pull, or top of the pull. And it's going to use triple joint extension. So all I'm going to do is extend my ankle, my knee, and my hip. And that's what's going to create power on this bar. So as I go through triple joint extension, I'm also going to shrug on top. So this is what we call finishing the pull, or top of the second pull. Just toe and shrug. You'll have your partner do 2 or 3. So from there, I'm going to go to what we call second pull. Second pull starts at mid-thigh. Mid-thighs, the bar's going to be resting on mid-thigh while I'm very, very vertical. Again, my shoulder and hip angle is very steep. Come right back up to finishing the pull. Go toe and shrug. I'll do that a couple times, make it a little more smooth, and then I'll have them demo it 2 or 3 times as well. From there, I'm going to go that explosive second pull into catching the overhead squat. Again, catching or receiving the bar in an overhead squat for the snatch. So I'm at second pull. I go through top of pull, jumping under the bar to catch the overhead squat, and back up. I have them do 2 or 3. So I'm demoing it, they're doing it, demoing it, they're doing it. Lastly, I'll go to first pull. So bringing the bar to mid-shin. I'm going controlled or slow past the knee, getting the bar back into the thigh, that jump, shrug, catch, and done. So that is your full snatch. Have them do a couple of those. So I just pieced it out, top of pull, second pull to top, second pull to jumping under, and then first pull through. So some of the things I'm looking for is a fishhook bar path. So as that bar comes up, I want to make sure that bar stays nice and close to my body in a straight line, and as it gets to the top, my wrist will turn over, creating a little fishhook on top. So it should be a straight line and fishhook. Things we're looking not to happen is if we start too quickly from first pull, the bar will start floating away. That's something that will create this big loop and create us to be inefficient. So we're looking for not to have that, as well as if we get up close to those hips and shoot those hips forward, it'll also cause that bar to swing forward. So too much hip contact will create that bar to kind of sweep forward away from us. The other 2 things I don't want to see are too much arms. So if we're lifting the bar, it gets to almost our hips, we start bending our elbows. and pulling this bar with our arms, it'll slow that bar down. And the last one is if any of those things usually happen, our feet will jump forward. So I'm always watching my feet jump forward or backwards or stay where they're at. So if those things start happening, like if we get the bar away from us, or we're not controlling our feet, we can use auxiliary movements. We have 4 of them for snatch. The first one is power snatch. So power snatch starts at first pull. I'm going through the entire triple extension and catching what we call a power position, or above 90 degrees of my knee. Have a group do a couple. Same thing in hang snatch. I'll set the bar at hang position, or bars at second pull, go through the entire triple extension, and catching an overhead squat. Next is going to be a snatch pull, which is just the pulling portion. I start at first pull and just go through that triple joint extension, so just explosive through that middle or that hip area. And then lastly is going to be muscle snatch. Again, I start at first pull, control the bar through, I extend my legs, and then pull with my arms. So my knees don't rebend to catch the bar. And those are our 4 auxiliary movements.